Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Bapak Ibu semuanya apa kabar? Wah, luar biasa sekali ya antusiasnya. Kami ucapkan juga terima kasih kepada Bapak dan Ibu yang sudah hadir pada kesempatan webinar siang hari ini. Perkenalkan, nama saya Helena. Saya yang akan memandu jalannya acara pada kesempatan webinar siang hari ini yang akan berlangsung selama 1,5 jam ke depan. Dan tema kita pada pagi hari ini adalah Accelerate Digital Transformation and Improve Transparency with SAP ERP Cloud. Dalam dunia bisnis dan teknologi, kita semua tentunya pernah memiliki kesulitan dalam mengatur stok, kemudian memprediksi permintaan customer, kemudian mengatur finansial, hingga teknologi apa sebagai penunjang, seperti itu. Nah, dalam dunia bisnis ini dan dalam kesempatan webinar pada pagi hari ini, semuanya akan dibahas secara tuntas dan secara praktis oleh narasumber kita yang sangat luar biasa. Dan di sini kami akan memperkenalkan prinsipal kami, yaitu kepada Ibu Lili Hartono selaku SAP by Design. Kami persilahkan Ibu Lili.
Halo, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Suara saya kedengaran nggak nih, Mbak Helen?
Lagi ya, kedengaran Bu.
Oke, sebentar ya. Kita coba. Sebentar dulu Bapak Ibu ya, saya ada kendala ini. Oke, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Mohon maaf ada kendala pada signal saya. Sebelumnya perkenalkan diri dulu. Nama saya Lili Hartono. Saya dari SAP Indonesia. Saya menghandle untuk produk SAP Business by Design atau yang biasa di market disebutnya SAP by Design atau by D. Oke, jadi saya ingin memperkenalkan karena kata orang kalau nggak kenal nggak sayang, oleh karena itu saya ingin memperkenalkan diri. Oke, bisa di next Mbak slide-nya. Oke, sebenarnya saya mau informasikan bahwa SAP itu sebenarnya sudah berdiri sejak tahun 1972 dengan headquarter kami ada di Waldorf, Jerman. Dan kalau Bapak Ibu lihat pada slide saya, bahwa jumlah customer yang ada di seluruh dunia itu sudah melebihi dari 400.000 customer, 440.000 customer, dan sudah tercover di 180 negara. Dan untuk informasi bahwa dari customer tersebut, 80% dari customer tersebut adalah SME customer. SME customer, small medium enterprise customer. Dan SAP memang kami fokus pada start awalnya untuk ERP produk, tapi berjalannya waktu kita berkembang mengikuti perkembangan dari bisnisnya customer. Oke, ini mengenai SAP-nya ya Bapak Ibu sekalian ya. Nah, sedangkan kalau untuk SAP Indonesia sendiri, kami sudah berdiri sejak tahun 1997, jadi tahun ini adalah tahun ke-24-nya kami, dan salah satu partner kami yaitu B1 Optima adalah partner yang menghandle untuk produk SAP Business by Design. Kalau Bapak Ibu bingung SAP by Design itu apa sih sebenarnya? Ini adalah salah satu produk dari SAP yang fokus, benar-benar fokus di SME customer dan real cloud. Jadi cloud-nya itu ada di SAP. Jadi Bapak Ibu nggak usah khawatir karena SAP sangat sudah mengsertifikasi untuk cloud kami, dan juga partner-partner kami, salah satunya adalah B1 Optima, yang sudah bersertifikat untuk membantu Bapak Ibu sekalian untuk menggunakan SAP Business by Design. Nah, itu penjelasan dari saya. Nah, untuk mengenai produknya nanti akan dibantu oleh tim dari SAP, yaitu Bapak Alex Chua. Terima kasih Mbak Helen.
Baik, terima kasih Ibu Lili. Dan di sini supaya makin kenal siapa kami akan mempersilahkan Ibu Esther Simanjuntak untuk memperkenalkan perusahaan kami. Kepada Ibu Esther, kami persilahkan.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, di sini aku ingin memperkenalkan siapa sih kami supaya Bapak Ibu jauh lebih kenal dengan kami ya. Kami PT B1 Optima Solusi, Bapak Ibu, kita bergerak di bidang IT Solution. Untuk kantor kita tuh ada di Green Lake, Bapak Ibu. Nah, untuk tim kita, Sebentar. Untuk tim kita, Bapak Ibu bisa lihat sekarang di layar saya, itu kita udah berpengalaman 14 tahun untuk DSAP-nya Bapak Ibu. Dan untuk proyek yang sudah kami bantu pun sudah lebih dari 100 proyek. Dan untuk tim kami sendiri sudah terdiri dari lebih dari 50 supporting team. Nah, ini terdiri dari siapa aja sih? Yang pertama kita ada tim konsultan Bapak Ibu. Ini tim yang mengimplementasikan si SAP-nya sendiri, dan kita juga ada tim R&D, ada tim customer care, ada juga support. Nah, kita juga mempunyai beberapa customer testimoni Bapak Ibu. Bapak Ibu bisa kalau lagi senggang visit YouTube kita di B1 Solution atau di Instagram kita di B1 Solution. Gitu ya. Dan kita juga menyediakan resource untuk on-site. Seperti itu. Nah, untuk kami sendiri ini adalah official partner SAP, Bapak Ibu mewakili Indonesia. Dan ini adalah beberapa achievement yang sudah kami terima. Yang pertama itu adalah kita Strategic Partner of the Year. Kita juga Indonesian Partner of the Year. Yang the fastest growing partner, dan yang terbaru ini adalah Industry Disruptor, yang mana kita memenangkan untuk produk AI kita di se-Asia Pasifik Jepang. Seperti itu ya Bapak Ibu. Nah, saya lanjut. Nah, di sini saya ingin memperkenalkan sedikit highlight. Apa sih SAP by Design itu? Bapak Ibu bisa lihat di sini di layar saya. SAP by Design ini semua modul sudah dalam satu solusi. Yang udah menggunakan SAP by Design ini pun sudah lebih dari 7.700 company yang tersebar di 146 negara. SAP by D ini memiliki untuk solusi-solusinya, strength point kita di SAP by D ini adalah Bapak Ibu, kalau kita upgrade sistem, kita tidak perlu butuh waktu lama untuk mengimplementasikannya. Kenapa? Karena kita sudah punya predefined solution per industry. Karena SAP by D ini sudah dilengkapi dengan lebih dari 200 software solution, ada 6.500 add-on solution. Nah, untuk pengguna atau yang menginvestasikan SAP by D ini, kita start di 5 sampai 10.000 user, Bapak Ibu. Nah, yang membedakan SAP by D ini dengan ERP lain apa sih? Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu bisa kita lihat SAP by D ini sudah dilengkapi yang namanya analytics. Jadi kalau Bapak sudah investasi atau upgrade sistem ke SAP by D ini, tidak perlu lagi Bapak Ibu untuk beli aplikasi lain, beli analytics, aplikasi analytics yang lain, karena sudah tersedia. Di luar itu, SAP by D ini untuk dari sisi infrastruktur langsung dihandle oleh SAP, Bapak Ibu. Yang sampai saat ini performance-nya pun zero downtime. Jadi ini adalah benefit yang Bapak Ibu dapatkan nanti kalau Bapak Ibu investasi di SAP by D-nya. Nah, untuk aksesnya juga bisa di mobile, bisa di desktop Bapak Ibu. Nah, yang tadi aku udah sempat sampaikan, kita bergerak di IT solution, kita juga nggak mau ketinggalan zaman nih Bapak Ibu, kita juga membuat beberapa produk intelligent enterprise yang menurut kita ini adalah sangat favorit di zaman sekarang ini, yang nanti teman saya dengan Pak Osep akan menjelaskan apa sih benefit dari produk-produk AI ini, kenapa sih tujuan kita untuk develop ini. Nah, nanti akan dibantu oleh teman saya, Bapak Yosef. Nah, Bapak Ibu, kalau ada pertanyaan, Bapak Ibu feel free ya untuk menghubungi aku. Aku orangnya senang berbicara, Bapak Ibu, senang ngobrol, senang ketemu banyak orang. Jadi Bapak Ibu nggak usah sungkan, boleh Bapak Ibu screenshot sekarang. Di sini saya sudah tampilkan untuk kartu nama saya, dari nomor handphone pribadi saya ada di dalam, nomor handphone official saya ada di dalam, dan berikut juga email saya. Seperti itu ya Bapak Ibu. Nah, sebelum kita pindah session, saya mempersilahkan Pak Yosef untuk memperkenalkan produk AI kita. Silakan Pak Yosef.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Esther.
Ya, sama-sama Pak Yosef.
Ya, saya gantian share screen kalau gitu. Oke, jadi tadi sudah diperkenalkan sekilas oleh Bu Esther ya. Nah, di sini saya akan jelaskan secara singkat satu persatu produk Intelligent Enterprise yang sudah kita develop selama ini. Sebelumnya, saya mau memperkenalkan dulu apa sih itu sebenarnya Intelligent Enterprise. Intelligent Enterprise itu adalah istilah gampangnya smart company. Kenapa smart? Karena semuanya prosesnya serba efisien dan kalau bisa otomatis. Nah, kenapa harus seperti itu? Eh, Bapak Presiden kita, Bapak Jokowi, sudah mencanangkan ya dari beberapa tahun terakhir itu agar kita Indonesia mulai masuk ke dalam industri 4.0. Di mana industri 4.0 itu eh, menggunakan atau menerapkan semua teknologi terkini. Salah satu contohnya teknologinya itu seperti machine learning, artificial intelligence, kemudian Internet of Things, analytics, cloud, dan sebagainya. Nah, berikut adalah beberapa contoh produk yang sudah kita develop, yang sudah menerapkan teknologi-teknologi intelligent enterprise tersebut. Mungkin satu-satu. Yang pertama itu adalah B1 Analyzer. Oke, B1 Analyzer ini adalah sebuah aplikasi yang menggunakan teknologi natural language processing dan sentiment analysis. Agak berat istilahnya ya. Nah, istilah ini tuh digunakan untuk bahasa gampangnya adalah untuk mendeteksi konteks dari percakapan. Jadi misalnya nih, Bapak Ibu punya salesnya itu berhubungan langsung dengan customer. Nah, di dalam percakapan antara si sales sama si customer itu biasanya ada misalnya produk ini harganya berapa sih, produk ini gimana spesifikasinya dan seterusnya. Nah, dengan menggunakan B1 Analyzer ini itu bisa langsung ngedetect nih produk-produk mana sih yang paling sering ditanyakan sama si customer kayak gitu. Atau misalnya lagi customer sering nge-review produk, kasih penilaian terhadap suatu produk, misalnya produknya ini kualitasnya oke, bagus, atau malah mungkin kualitasnya jelek. Nah, dengan menggunakan B1 Analyzer ini bisa ketahuan juga nih produk-produk mana sih yang sebenarnya paling sering di-review oleh customer itu bagus, mana sih yang di-review oleh customer itu jelek, kayak gitu. Itu yang pertama B1 Analyzer. Kemudian kita lanjut ke B1 Optical Character Recognition. Di B1 Optical Character Recognition ini atau OCR itu adalah aplikasi mobile untuk mendeteksi tulisan dari sebuah gambar. Salah satu contoh penggunanya itu adalah untuk mendeteksi tulisan pada KTP, pada SIM, pada struk parkir, tol, dan seterusnya. Nah, buat apa sih dideteksi tulisan-tulisan itu? Bisa misalnya dihubungkan dengan SAP by Design untuk proses reimbursement misalnya. Kayak gitu ya. Oke, lanjut kita ada punya B1 Tracker. B1 Tracker ini seperti aplikasi ojek online, Bapak Ibu. Jadi aplikasinya ini memanfaatkan Google Map, GPS, dan geolocation untuk nge-track. Kalau di sini itu nge-track supir. Jadi supir truknya itu nanti ada punya aplikasi, dia bisa kasih sinyal terus-menerus. Tujuannya buat apa? Tujuannya itu buat kasih tahu ke kita. Harusnya rute pengiriman misalnya ya. Rute pengirimannya itu harusnya dari titik A, B, C, D. Kok ini dia menyimpang nih, nggak ngikutin rute harusnya. Nah, itu bisa dianalisa lebih lanjut. Oke, kemudian kita ke B1 Assistant. B1 Assistant di sini itu adalah aplikasi chatbot. Nah, mungkin saya langsung, mumpung ada contoh demonya ya. Oke, nah aplikasi chatbot, kenapa sih harus menggunakan aplikasi chatbot ini? Kalau Bapak Ibu sering mengunjungi website-website, itu kan biasanya ada tuh chat with us atau tanya kami, kayak gitu kan. Nah, itu sebenarnya siapa sih yang jawab? Yang jawab itu mesin, biasanya, bukan orang. Kenapa? Karena mesin itu bisa tersedia 24/7, 24 jam, 7 hari ya. Jadi itu bisa mengurangi kebutuhan untuk orang untuk membalesin pesan dari customer satu persatu. Kalau customernya nanya pas subuh-subuh, ya yang ngelayanin kan nggak ada gitu kan. Makanya si mesin ini bisa gantiin itu. Nah, pertanyaan-pertanyaan apa sih yang biasanya bisa di-handle sama si chatbot? Macam-macam. Mulai dari nanya-nanya tentang FAQ atau frequently asked question, atau nanya-nanya tentang produk, atau bisa juga digunakan untuk kebutuhan reporting manajerial. Misalnya Bapak Ibu adalah owner dari sebuah bisnis, pengen tahu nih laporan penjualan Bapak Ibu terakhir gimana sih, dari customer siapa aja, atau misalnya mau nanya stok di gudang, stok item tertentu di gudang gitu, tanpa harus membuka aplikasi ERP ataupun SAP by Design atau yang lain, Bapak Ibu bisa langsung tanya lagi di jalan, tanya sama handphonenya. Kenapa? Karena chatbot kita ini sudah terhubung dengan Google Assistant. Jadi kalau handphone Bapak Ibu itu menggunakan sistem Android, biasanya itu kan ada Google Assistant ya, yang bisa diakses dengan cara tinggal tanya, oke Google, halo Google, gitu kan.
Laporan bisnis Anda secara real time. Apakah yang bisa saya bantu?
Oke, jadi ini adalah contoh tampilannya pada saat di layar Google Assistant. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa ngomong lewat suara, jadi pada saat lagi nyetir, itu langsung bisa tanyain ke si bos pintar ini. Oke, selanjutnya kita punya B1 Attendance. B1 Attendance, First Recognition, dan Trolley Post ini saya akan jelaskan secara langsung karena tiga-tiganya ini berhubungan. Kenapa? Karena tiga-tiganya ini menggunakan teknologi face recognition atau pengenalan wajah. Nah, pengenalan wajah ini bisa diaplikasikan untuk macam-macam. Salah satunya adalah untuk menggantikan mesin absensi yang sekarang kan masih mungkin pakai sidik jari. Apalagi di masa pandemi sekarang ini pakai sidik jari itu kan bisa meningkatkan risiko penularan virus. Jadi dengan menggunakan pengenalan wajah, jadi hanya cuma tinggal nongolin muka aja, udah langsung absen, kayak gitu. Nah, kalau bisa juga si face recognition ini digabungkan dengan sistem point of sales atau kasir, mesin kasir penjualan. Gunanya untuk apa? Gunanya untuk meningkatkan customer retention sama customer engagement. Bayangin aja Bapak Ibu misalnya datang ke sebuah kafe, langsung disambut sama si baristanya ngelihat dari B1 trolley ini, wih, oh si Bapak Budi nih, gitu. Kenapa? Karena wajahnya Bapak Budi ini kelihatan di layarnya si barista itu. Berikut juga dengan histori transaksinya dia, kemudian dengan mood-nya dia, dan sebagainya. Gunanya supaya si barista ini bisa langsung menyapa si Bapak Budi ini. Halo Bapak Budi, kemarin mesen frappuccino ya, hari ini mau pesen frappuccino yang sama atau mau coba yang lain, kayak gitu. Oke, untuk demonya saya akan jadi kalau Bapak Ibu lihat di sini, ini adalah teknologi face recognition yang sudah kita develop. Di sini ada 4 informasi penting yang bisa didapatkan dari si face recognition-nya ini. Yang pertama itu adalah pastinya namanya, kemudian habis itu adalah umurnya, kemudian jenis kelamin, dan juga adalah ekspresi. Ekspresinya itu bisa macam-macam juga. Dia bisa mendeteksi ekspresi netral seperti sekarang ini, atau happy, atau sad, kemudian juga bisa mendeteksi ekspresi marah, disgust atau jijik, kemudian surprise, atau juga fearful atau ketakutan, kayak gitu. Nah, dari teknologi face recognition ini tentang B1 Attendance, contohnya adalah seperti ini. Jadi di B1 Attendance ini kita kompres menjadi satu mobile application untuk pengganti mesin absensinya. Kemudian si HRD-nya bisa langsung lihat nih siapa saja yang sudah absen. Dan kelebihannya lagi adalah kita ngedeteksi lokasi tempat dia melakukan absensi itu, longitude dan latitude-nya. Berikut juga alamat. Ya mungkin ini nggak 100% akurat karena menggunakan GPS ya. Jadi ya plus minus berapa meter gitu. Nah, dari sini kita bisa dapetin semua informasi tadi, yang keempat tadi, namanya, kemudian usia, kemudian ekspresinya dia, kayak gitu. Jadi bisa digunakan untuk tim sales yang biasanya bepergian tuh kemana-mana, canvassing gitu kan, harus melakukan absensinya gimana? Bisa menggunakan B1 attendance. Oke. Itu tadi tentang face recognition dan penerapannya. Kemudian kita terakhir punya B1 Doctor. B1 Doctor di sini itu seperti antivirus. Kalau antivirus itu yang dideteksi adalah virus di komputer. Nah, bedanya adalah kalau B1 Doctor itu yang dideteksi itu adalah semua problem-problem yang berkaitan mungkin dengan stok atau laporan penjualan, laporan laba rugi perusahaan dari sistem ERP Bapak Ibu sekalian, yaitu SAP Business by Design, kayak gitu. Oke, mungkin itu aja sekilas tentang produk-produk intelligent enterprise yang sudah kita develop. Selebihnya saya kembalikan kepada host. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Ibu Esther dan Bapak Yosef. Dan selanjutnya, we invite the Honorable Mr. Alex Chua as Director GPO. Time is yours, Mr. Alex.
Terima kasih. Selamat pagi, Bapak-Bapak, Ibu-Ibu. My presentation will be in English, ya. Minta maaf. Okay, as I mentioned, my presentation will be in English. Kalau ada soalan dalam bahasa, bisa juga dijawab, ya. So, presentasinya dalam bahasa Inggris sebab bahasa Indo not expert, ya, bukan expert. So anyway, for today, what I'm going to share with you is what we call a product called SAP Business by Design. And not just now, we actually hear about intelligent enterprise. So how does the business by design and intelligent enterprise go together? And how does it really help your company? Right. So as mentioned, my name is Alex. I'm based out of Singapore. I've been with SAP for the past 9 years, and I've been with this particular product, SAP Business by Design, also for the past 9 years. Okay, and the agenda that I've prepared for today basically is to share why SAP Business by Design. Right, I'm not sure how much you know about SAP. Ibu Lily already did some introduction, right, to share with you, SAP, where we are HQ is at, know how many number of customers we have, and so on. But in SAP, if you look at it, we have quite a number of different products. Okay, so in terms of ERP, we have for large enterprise, we have for medium enterprise, we have also for smaller organization. We have also HR software, expense management software, and so on. So today, we are talking about this product called SAP Business by Design and why, right? So like what Ibu Lily also mentioned, majority of our customers are actually SME. So that is one of the reasons why SAP came out with this product called SAP Business by Design. This product is actually introduced in 2007. So dalam tahun ini sudah berapa tahun ya? 15, 14, right? 14 years old product, and we are now bringing this into Indonesia. So sebelum ni, if you look at it, tidak pernah dengar SAP Business by Design. Kenapa? Because this is a cloud product, right? This is a public cloud product, and a lot of time when we try to go to Indonesia and not introduce this to customer, semua takut ya sebab security. Cloud product, is it secure, right? No, it's the data center in Indonesia. No, what happened if there's a hacking and so on? But nowadays, a lot of customers know that if it's a cloud provider, right? People like Amazon, Azure, they actually provide cloud solution. Cloud hosting, and customers, company like us, SAP, we also have what we call the data hosting. So what happens here is that Business by Design is fully hosted by SAP, and it's a full public cloud solution. So what does that mean to you? It means that all you need to have is internet access, right? You don't have to worry about the backup. You don't have to worry about the hardware and so on. So leave that to SAP. What you need to do is have internet access to access the system. And because currently a lot of customers are proactively looking for cloud solution, we find that now is a good time for us to share this with you. And also due to the pandemic, right? Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you see that a lot of us are asked to work from home, right? So when we work from home, we need to be able to access the system. Our business still have to run. Right, so that's why nowadays you see that a lot of customers are looking to us to provide a solution, ERP on the cloud, whereby they can still do their work from home. Okay, so of course, How does by design address to the challenges? Let me share with you. I will do a quick demo because not today, the session is only about not 30 minutes. If after the presentation today, if you are more interested to know more, right, please approach B1, which is our partner, and arrange for a more detailed demo. Okay, and then of course, what is business by design, and followed by open discussion. So going straight into the agenda, why? So here, this is where we are looking at technology trends that's changing most of the business environment. Right? Hyperconnectivity, supercomputing, cloud computing, smarter world, cybersecurity. Hyperconnectivity, you know that we have a lot of ways of accessing information, right? So how do we actually address to hyperconnectivity? And hyperconnectivity is also where you see customers, companies like Gojek, right? They actually go in, they have a lot of customers, they suddenly come up with different lines of business, not only to provide transport, but also to provide other information, transport. People like Grab, also same thing, right? They provide the transport, they provide financing, they provide Grab food, and so on. So a lot of companies now are going into this particular trend and taking advantage of it. For today, we are talking about number 3, which is cloud computing. So in terms of competitive market, how is it that cloud computing can help you? Let me just go to the next one here. So business by design, why we are proposing this to you today is because of 3 key items that we are looking at. Number 1, fast time to value. What does fast time to value means? When you implement an application, you want to use the system as soon as possible, right? So you cannot afford to wait 6 months, 9 months just to use the system. So in cloud application, and as what was shared also by Ibu Esther earlier on, standard best practices, standard processes are already in place in by design. And as a result, implementation will take only about 3 to 4 months, right? Within 3 to 4 months, you are able to go live. And why? Because a lot of the standard best practice is already in business by design. And this is actually copied over from our larger enterprise software, right? If you are familiar with SAP, we have products before we call it R3, we call it ECC, now we call it S4HANA. Those processes are already inbuilt into business by design. And the reason why we are doing this is because we know that a lot of SME, they want to implement something like a SAP, a larger enterprise product, but they find that it's a bit too expensive, mahal, yeah. So what happened is that they say, okay, I would not look at SAP, the ECC or S4HANA. Maybe here, this is where I can actually look at SAP Business by Design. So this is where, if you look at the costing of SAP Business by Design later on, you'll realize that this is more suited for SME market, and it is a comprehensive business suite. So that's where we come to point number 2. So what we mean by comprehensive business suite, I think in the audience for today, we have different industry. Yeah, from what wholesale distribution, from manufacturing, from professional services, from education, right? You would need to use modules that are suitable for your industry. So within business by design, there are already what we call CRM, supplier, supply chain, even project management and finance. So that's what we mean by comprehensive. All the main modules for your business are already in one product, right? And of course, the third one, the most important one, is 360-degree view. Again, Ibu Esther already mentioned, in business by design, there is analytics that's inbuilt. It means that you do not need to buy a third-party application. Because most of the time, if you are having a financial system or ERP system, for you to do reports or analytics, you may need to add on another application, right? Just to do analytics on the graph, be able to drill down and so on. In by design, you don't have to do that because it's already in the application as one of the modules itself. So in there, later on, I will show you that this is what are the KPIs or reports that you can actually be doing yourself. Meaning to say that you can manage the reports yourself without coming to the partner, without doing any programming, or without even coming to SAP. Okay, so this is the 3 main reasons why we are proposing business by design to you today. And here, when you look at cloud, I just wanted to highlight to you what are the few elements that you need to look at. I have highlighted 5 here. What is important is that you need to have analytics, Number two, of course, it needs to be real time, right? When you update the information, you do not want to wait until end of the month to see the reports. As and when you need to see the report, you want information to be already updated, real time for you, so that you can make the decision, right? Scalable. Scalable meaning to say that, no, what if I want to start small, but I have a need to expand, right? Currently, I only have maybe 2 companies, but in 3 years' time, I'm hoping to expand to 5 companies, 3 different countries or 5 different countries. So it's up to you. And this is where, when you look at a cloud strategy, or when you want to change to a cloud ERP, you need to think whether the system can cater for your expansion, right? And the fourth one is easy. Easy means what? When you have a system, no matter how good the system is, if it is not easy to use, if your users do not want to key in data, it will serve no purpose to you. So you need to look at a system that is easy to maintain, easy to learn, and easy to use. And of course, from there, that's where you get the results of the analytics, right? And the last one that I wanted to highlight also is that there must be a mobile connectivity. So mobile connectivity means what? When you have the system, when you are online at home or in the office through your laptop, what happens if you are outside, right? Or what happens if your management is outside and they want to be able to analyze or look at a certain report, right? So this is where by design, again, we also cater to what we call mobile apps. So there are already 3 standard mobile apps that comes with the system, 1 for reporting, 1 for CRM, and 1 for project management. So that's where, when you're outside, even you're outside, you can actually look at the mobile app, analyze from there, and so on, right? So these 5 elements, remember that, for if you want to have a cloud strategy. Now, instead of just telling you, how good the product is and so on, I just wanted to share with you a customer story, right? There's this customer called Heliotron, and Heliotron is a customer that we have in Germany, right? But what happened is that they wanted to go digital, and the reason they wanted to go digital is what you see at the line by line, right? They have now an increased number of orders, but the order size are actually getting smaller, right? That means the value is smaller, but increase in number of orders. And as a result, number of transactions is increasing, and they need to have a system that allows them to do faster order processing. Apart from that, there is also a need for them to be able to cater to customer service, right? They want to now also expand, and they actually deal with suppliers that is in APAC region rather than only from Europe. So the lead time is longer and so on. They need to be able to cater the purchasing, right? And of course, seasonal demand. So because of all these reasons, they were looking at digital, and they were looking at business by design. So how did business by design help them? Here. So for this company, as I mentioned, they are looking for all those items. And when they look at business by design, I think this also was shown by Ibu Esther earlier on. You will notice that in business by design, there's already a sales, there's a CRM, right? There's also a production for you to do if you are in the manufacturing. Within the finance and HR, if you want to manage expense claim, expense management is also in business by design, right? And of course, if you're doing distribution, logistics is there. And then, of course, the final one here, the most important is reporting, right? But besides that, all this other information that you see here, together with sourcing, eventually will go to financials. So financials is definitely there as the heart of the system. Anything that has a financial implication in the other modules will automatically and immediately update financials. So this is what we mean by real time. Okay, and for HR, again, you may want to capture the master data, you may want to capture the timesheet. It is also within business by design. So they look at this product, Heliotron, this customer, and they say that, okay, this is comprehensive, and I want to implement this product. Here, I have a video, just have a look and listen. And then I'll come back to you.
It's one of the oldest products of mankind, invented about 5,000 years ago. It's simple, heartwarming, and it's the product of a fascinating company, Heliotron, a typical German small to medium-sized company, family-run, but a global player in the candle business. They're revolutionizing customer relationships and becoming an intelligent enterprise with SAP. Using SAP technology, Heliotron delivers a level of customer experience far greater than its size would suggest, becoming a preferred supplier to major hospitality brands globally and raising the bar for the entire industry. With only 64 employees, Heliotron is able to deliver up to 16 million liquid wax candle combinations, leveraging input and insights from across the organization to accurately predict demand. Customers can personalize every order, fulfilled in hours rather than days. And this is only possible if every area of the company is in sync. Intelligent enterprises can lower customer acquisition costs and automatically deliver marketing campaigns and offers that optimize customer experiences. They also provide the best return on marketing investment using machine learning algorithms. Marketeers can build complete customer profiles that intuit customer desires and ensure personalized, relevant interactions every time. And when it comes to sales, artificial intelligence is used to drive chatbots that respond to basic queries, so customers get quick, accurate answers. Real-time visibility into margins allows organizations to price competitively and optimize sales commissions without impacting deal profitability or customer value. Heliotron increased sales efficiency 8-fold, leveraging predictive analytics to gain deeper insight and prioritize sales actions across a seamlessly integrated offline and online customer experience. Regarding operations, integrated applications with embedded intelligence provide accurate insight across the company. By seamlessly integrating data from its demand and supply chains in real time, Heliotron improved inventory turnover by a factor of 5. Responding to market needs faster and more efficiently. Intelligent customer relationships are possible because customer-facing data is stored in the same platform as the financial, people, and operational systems, like procurement, manufacturing, and fulfillment. Technology continues to reshape industries, but only SAP provides the completeness of vision, experience, and embedded intelligence. Intelligent enterprises are able to do more with less. Your entire organization stays focused on one thing: creating and delivering best-of-breed customer relationships. It's this type of shared relationship, repeated a million times, that creates lasting brand value and enables small to medium-sized enterprises to play on the global field. As for the future, Heliotron plans to enter the global B2C market and integrate predictive scenarios to support management decision-making. If you'd like to learn more about becoming an intelligent enterprise and revolutionizing customer relationships, visit us at sap.com.
Okay, so did you hear a few keywords that was also presented earlier on the topic of intelligent enterprise? So this is where you will see how it helps if you have ERP at the back end that is already operational. And a lot of companies now are not only looking at ERP, they are also saying that, no, I want to expand this. So in the video, you notice that they were talking about chatbot, right? They also talk about machine learning. They also talk about predictive analytics. So these are the things that you may want to also look at when you have the back end up and running, right? And then they also mentioned in the sense that operations is seamless in the sense as most of the modules are integrated, right? So this is where you need to think, how can we actually maximize the use of our ERP that we have already? And on top of that, put simple things like a chatbot, like earlier on you've seen, or even the facial recognition. How does it help you in your industry? Because these are all depending on the industry that you are at, what makes sense to you, right? Same thing in Thailand example, we have a customer partner or customer whereby they are using chatbot just to take sales inquiry, right? Instead of no customer calling in and somebody have to answer, check the system and so on, they use the chatbot, right? What is my sales order status, right? What is the delivery date? Simple questions like this, whereby it's taken over by the chatbot, artificial intelligence, and then of course, it reduces the work for you or your users, right? So in this case, what exactly is business by design? you have seen that no, we have all these different modules, right? But here, what I wanted to elaborate further is that apart from financial, HR, supplier relation, supply chain, and customer relation, you notice here there's also a project management. So project management is very useful if you are dealing with things like progress billing, work in progress, and your project may go from 1 year to 2 years or 3 years. How do you track, what's the revenue? The revenue recognition is important. And how do you link this to a timesheet? How do I actually know who is actually assigned to this project? So that's why you see here there's a HR that also links to the project management. Right, and apart from that, a lot of customers say that, okay, fine, these are all great, but in my industry, I need something extra, right? I need something, a process that is only unique to my industry. So that's why you see here there's this solution extension. Solution extension is very good and come in handy if you want to extend the application by creating add-ons. So this is using what we call our SDK or software development kit for us to add on any other process that you may have, or maybe even talk about integration. Example, you are coming from schools and you have a student management system, and the student management system, you want to integrate certain information back to business by design, right? So this is where we can use the SDK or software development kit to allow us to create the multiple integration that you need. We have even customers who has integration to warehouse management system, transport management system, and so on. Right, so depending on the industry, like I said, and depending on your needs, this is where we can give you the consultation and say that, okay, this is how we can do it within SAP Business by Design. And if you are familiar with SAP, there's this SAP HANA. SAP HANA basically is our platform or for read-only access, whereby it is helping you in terms of the speed of processing, right? This already is in place for SAP Business by Design. You do not need to pay extra for it, right? So it's already there, it's hosted by SAP, and you can enjoy it already, right? And at the bottom, just to highlight here, as I mentioned, mobile apps are there, analytics are there. There are also cases where we call it e-learning, because now that everything is on the cloud, the help is there, and the e-learning is there in the sense that you can go through in the system some videos. If I'm accounts payable, how do I actually run the process in by design? So the e-learning actually comes with a few videos for you already for your different so-called persona, meaning to say that if I'm AP, what do I do? If I'm AR, what do I do? And so on. And again, inbuilt also is what we call the workflow, right? A lot of the companies, they said, okay, I want to approve the purchase order before it's sent out. I want to approve the expense claim before it's paid. So the approval workflow is already in the system. And as I mentioned just now, we have already all these processes in place, right? And here, apart from that, I wanted to also share with you the ROI. ROI meaning to say that if I implement this, right, do I have to worry about hardware? Do I have to worry about the upgrades, right? Or do I have to even worry about doing the backup or having disaster recovery? If you notice here, all these are managed by SAP. So hardware, support, backup, disaster recovery, network upgrades, all of these are done by SAP, and that cost is your savings. So that's what we mean by the ROI, the returns of investment. And this is also where I want to highlight this part. The most important part here is this disaster recovery. If you are aware, disaster recovery is basically a duplicate of your existing production. That means if you have a production server with 20 users, if you want to have a true disaster recovery, you need to have another server with the same 20 users. Why? Because if anything happens to your production server, if it goes down, your operation, your business still needs to run, right? So that's where you will go to the disaster recovery server to run your operations instead. But not many of the customers that we meet are doing that, because why? It's very costly. Imagine if a customer has 100 users, they need to duplicate 100 users in the disaster recovery server, and that is paying double. In here, by design, like I said, you don't have to worry about that. You just pay the license that you need in terms of the users. All of this will be taken care of by SAP. Okay, now you have seen all this. Why? how and what. Now, let me have a quickly show you the application itself. So as I mentioned, the application is fully on the cloud, right? So what you need is, of course, internet access. You would be given a URL that is unique to your company. So this URL will be yours and yours only. That means even SAP would not be able to access. And once you say that, okay, you have already set up, you have created all the different users, then of course, with the different security, you can then have them log in, right? Now I'm logging in as Alex. And here, after you are logged in, depending on the user access rights, this is where you will see all the different menu. So as you can see just now, when I showed you the different modules that we have, I'm now logged in as admin. That's the reason why I can see all the different modules, right? And of course, in all the modules, there are sub-menus. Then as a new user, yeah, when you go in, maybe you get confused, right? In the sense as, hey, where do I go to key in a journal? Or where do I go to key in production, right? Here. So and here you can do a search, a find. In this case, I want to look for general ledger. So type along anything that has GNER will come up, right? And in this case here, any one of these items that you want. Example, this one I want to have as a shortcut. I need to use this every day. You just say, yes, I want to add this to a shortcut. If you look at the bottom here, already added. Where does it go? Here. Okay, so we make it easier for the users to say that, no, yes, the menu is there, a lot of sub-modules. What are the things that you need to do day to day? You just create as a shortcut. When you log in, you just come in and use this to be your day-to-day work. But you know, some customers, they say, no, apart from that, can I actually have a screen whereby my users just look at the example, what you're seeing on screen now, a launchpad, a dashboard, whereby the functions are there already. So example here, if you look at my dashboard, I created one for finance. So if I want to go finance, these are the things that I'm doing, right? So to make it easier for the users, instead of them going to search, here you immediately, you can actually search and say, okay, I want to now look at org structure. And that's it. I am now going into the function itself. And the reason I want to show you this is because depending on your company, do you have only a single entity ataupun you have multiple companies? And if you have multiple companies, how do you set it up in Business by Design? So in this case here, you notice that in by design, we have this org structure concept whereby you can create a holding company, which is your group company. And then at the bottom, subsidiary 1, subsidiary 2, 3, 4, and so on. So this is again up to you. Let us know your structure. And of course, training will be given to you. So eventually, if you have only set up 2 companies here plus a holding, and later on you expand a joint venture and you say you want them to also use by design, you can create a 3rd company. You can create a 4th company. No impact to the license, right? So untuk company, when you expand, untuk cost license masih sama ya, tidak ada yang extra. The only thing that we need to know is how many users that needs to access the system. That's it. So we only look at user license. We don't need to know how many company you create. We have some customers who have created 50 or even up to 100 subsidiaries in Business by Design, right? And what they do is they have a shared service, meaning to say they have a pool of finance people sitting in one country, but accessing all the different companies and doing the finance from one company. Okay, so it all depends on how you look at it. And once this is set up, right, what is also important is that later on, as I mentioned just now, reports. How effective or how easy is it for me to create the reports, and how can I see the reports? So as you can see from here, immediately you have an overview. And this overview, again, is up to you to personalize. You can actually personalize according to your access level, according to what you want to see day to day. For me, I've given myself access to a aging report, right? Receivable, profit report. But at the same time, you notice at the bottom, I also want to see what's my sales, right? And also what's my spending per supplier. Apart from that, I also want to look at my cash flow. So again, like I said, this depends on your requirement and whatever access right you are given. because you may not want to give a cash flow report to a salesperson or purchase report, a purchase person, right? So this, if you have set up the security, if the salesperson want to try to see this report, the data will come up, the report will come up with no data. Okay, so this is how we control that no certain reports, they cannot be seen by different people, right? And in the event, let's say you have seen this and you say, okay, I want to add. Kalau mau tambah satu report, macam mana? Do I actually go to IT? Do I actually go to SAP or even the partner B1, right? So here, in Business by Design, there is this, sorry, let me minimize this one. Tak bisa ya. Okay, so here, I can go to what we call a personalization mode. And if you notice here, it is similar to what you do for your mobile app. Do you want to add? Do you want to delete? If you want to add or delete, here delete is X, right? But if you want to add, if I go further down, you notice that there's this here. And in this case, there's no data for this one. So I don't need this report. Let me delete that off. But here instead, I want to add another report. Example, maybe I want to add a report for project management. Okay. Let me just go back here. Sorry. Okay. And I want to see a project report. And you will notice here, everything is already shown. And I want to look for a particular KPI, or I want to look for a particular report. It's up to you to set. In this case, I want to look for a particular KPI, right? Any KPI that's related to project, you just type, okay, it will show you here. And that's where I can say that, okay, I want to have a project with critical work overrun, apply. And you have already added the report. And once this is done, all you need to do is just save. And then, of course, to say, I want to finish personalizing. So this is also what I mean just now, when you need to look for a product, it needs to be easy to use. So we also learned from the past that sometimes users want to be able to do things faster. They cannot keep on going back to IT because IT may have a lot of different work to do. So users want to be able to be doing things self-service, right? So this is where we want to empower the users to do things, simple things like this by themselves without going to IT. And apart from that, your reports, right? When I go into the reports, same thing. In certain contexts, some of the reports, standard reports created, yes, I press a button, you get the report. But there are cases whereby management tell the users to say that, no, I want a different format. I want different data in the report. So what happens then? Can the end user do the reports themselves? Or again, you need to go and ask IT to help, right? So by design, we make it simple again. Yes, I have bar chart, but apart from that, I have a different presentation of different charts. In this case, I want to analyze by table. Once I have this information, what is important is that I want to be able to analyze further. I want to know more in terms of the numbers. So if you're coming from education, I want to know which course is selling better, which course is making money. If you're coming from wholesale distribution, which product, right? Which product is selling the best, which product is losing money, and so on. So that's where in here, you as a user, you can easily just go in here and say that, okay, I want to analyze further. And how do you analyze? Basically here, you see there's row and there's this column. So on the row, I want to add information. So just press here, and you see all the different dimension or segments that are standard in Business by Design will show for you. And that's where you can just easily pick it up and say that, okay, now our management asked to see a report by product, right? And then that's it. Okay, you have changed the presentation. Okay, and from my engagement with customers, a lot of the customers, they tell us that if they were to do this report, the fastest maybe they can do is 30 minutes, half an hour. In certain cases, they may take half a day because they download to Excel, they extract data from different places so that they have this format. Okay, but in by design, if you notice here, after you get used to this, you can easily manipulate the report. This is one style, but if you say that, okay, no, I don't want too much information, I want to summarize number by the year. I don't need to go by accounting period, example. So that's where I just have to tell the system, remove this. Because later on, if you want, you can untuk report ni I need only sales, cost of sales, and profit. So that's where again, here you notice there's this key figure. Again, this is standard from by design. You can choose to add, you can choose to delete. You can also choose to create your own calculation. Because if you're coming from finance or operations, you may have a calculation that you need, a ratio that you want to put into the system, right? So that's where you can even customize that, right? But in this case here, like I said, I do not need this 3. Okay, so if you notice dalam masa 1 minit ya, I've changed the report format maybe 3 to 4 times. And once you're happy with this format, all you need to do is just save this as your own. Once you have saved this as your own, you don't have to keep on doing the adding and the deletion already. This is your standard report. And how do you actually differentiate the reports? You will notice that after you have saved, there will be a list of reports here. Okay, so the list of reports will tell you that this is your personal report, which is what I'm doing, personal for myself. There's also a corporate report. That means as a company, the HQ said that, okay, this report is to be shared by all, or these are the standard reports coming from SAP. Okay, so these are all done for you. And are you happy with this report? If you're happy with this report, of course, then you can easily just download, and it's a live report. So if you are very familiar with Excel and you want to continue to use Excel for your reporting because you may want to add a certain graph, a certain calculation. Here, you see here in in Excel, I have a log on to Business by Design. Why is this necessary? Why do I need to log on? It's because you would want the information coming from by design and you want it live. When I say you want it live, meaning to say anybody who's updating the transaction, you can pull this report out with the latest information. You do not need to worry that it's a static report. So once you have logged in, if you notice here, the same reports that you see just now on by design, you can see it here as well. So for your information, Business by Design comes with 500 report ya, standard reports. Dalam Business by Design sudah ada 500 report yang bisa diguna straight out of the box. So it's up to you what you want to do. So in this case, example, I want to look for aging report, and I want to look for aging for receivable, which is this one example here. So once I insert this report, it actually is coming directly from Business by Design. And you can do the same thing like I did just now. Remember, I add the row, I add a column, and so on. Here, you see on this row, column. So anything you want to add on the row, anything you want to add on the column, you just have to choose and put it in. So, and information that you see here, easily you can put it out also into the report. So example, if you have seen this report, this is an aging report, and you say that, okay, I want my salespeople to call them, right? Because they have been owing me more than 120 days, especially this one, Innovat, Jack Jackson Heating, right? I need to call them to ask them to pay money. But if you see here, there's no phone information. So dari sini, all they need to do is say that, okay, I want to also access the master data of the customers. In this case, I want to look for phone. Yeah, it's here as well. So what you can do is save this as your report, as your standard report, and over here, the information is there already for your salespeople to call the customer. So this is how you can use the reporting, whether you want to do it in Excel or back to by design here, right? And in both cases, if you want to add more information like what you see just now, I add the phone. In here, you can do the same thing, right? What if you go to your manager, and the manager, your boss will say, hey, I like this report, but tell me more about the customer. Which customer buy which product, right? So that's where you say, okay, wait for me. I will just add customer. And in certain cases, just to share with you, because of these capabilities, some of the bosses themselves want to access this report because they find it easy for them to find information and for them to analyze. So it really depends. You can be the user that is producing this report for your boss, or some bosses, they are very active, they are very hands-on. They say, I like this, I want to do this myself. Okay, and here, presentation may be to your liking. You say customer should be actually in front, product should be the subheader. So all you need to do is just drag, drop. Done. Okay, so that's what we mean by making it easy for you to use, as well as here the connectivity. Remember just now I said it's a comprehensive solution, right? All the different modules are in the system. What if I want to now look at a certain customer? I want to go to the CRM. Now I'm in the finance, right? I want to look at this customer itself. I want to know more information about this customer. So that's where I can easily drill down to the customer. And then now you've noticed that from just now finance, now I'm going into customer. And this customer basically is part of the CRM, right? What do we mean by part of the CRM? Over here, you notice, yes, I have all the different sales information. But what is important is that what are the transactions you have with the customer? So if you're coming from distribution trading, you would want to know how many quotations is still outstanding. What do we need to follow up? Are there new opportunities coming from this customer? So you notice one view, I have already the information, leads, opportunities, quotation, and orders. And in certain cases, some of you may want to use the marketing function, right? What do we mean by marketing function? Marketing meaning to say, I want to participate in a trade event. I want to have a special campaign to introduce a new product. And I want to know how successful that campaign is. So that's where you see here at the bottom, we can also create campaigns. This is part of the marketing or by design. And then of course, target group. Because when you create a new product, it may not be meant only for a certain group of customers, not for all the group of customers. So you can create different target groups and then send this. And then of course, monitor which sales is coming from which campaign and whether the campaign is successful or not, right? Apart from that, of course, in here, for those of sales service, meaning to say that if you are selling a product, you provide warranty. Apart from providing warranty, you may also say that I want to be able to provide a repair, right? Repair and servicing. So that's where a customer may call you and say, okay, I have a product problem with the machine. I need it to be repaired. So example, this 1054, you would then assign it to a technician or engineer to say, okay, Mr. So-and-so or Ibu so-and-so, please look into this and attend to this. So this would then be going through the internal messaging in the by design. And once the work is done, the service order will be completed. And if this is billable, it will then go into invoicing. So here in by design, just take note, apart from selling of products, you can be also selling of services, right? And of course, in terms of finance, what is important to finance is the capability to look at the document and to look at the audit trail, right? Apart from the audit trail, what happens is that you are also interested to know, can I see my historical information, right? Here, you see that this is 2020, but I want to see before that, 2019 invoice or 2017 invoice and so on. Can I do that? So in business by design, we do not archive your transaction. It is all stored in the system as individual transaction. So in this case, I want to look for a particular invoice, 133. Okay, you notice here, 2017, 2015, 2012. Okay, so this is to show you that we do not archive it. You do not need to worry because some ERP system or financial system, whenever you do a year-end closing, the previous year's transaction will be summarized. It will just show you as a total. You cannot see the individual transaction. In by design, you can, and anytime you want to look at it, you just go in. Here, I am able to pull out the invoice. If I need to reprint the invoice, not an issue. If I want to preview on the screen, also not an issue. All the reports, all the forms in by design is already a PDF. And what is also important, like I mentioned earlier for the finance, the audit trail, right? This invoice came from which sales order, came from which delivery, is this invoice already paid? Here. Okay, tadi only 133, right? I look for 133, but from here I'm able to see 133 asalnya dari sales order 1927. And from sales order 1927, deliverynya 293. And from there, I'm also able to see, okay, this invoice, no problem, I already received the money, payment already done. So one view you're able to see, and why I said finance will like this is because a lot of time during audit, auditors will always ask, if it's a large transaction, a large amount transaction, the auditors will always ask for the supporting document. So in this case, you don't have to worry that you have lost the hard copy. Any point of time, they can just come here and have a look. The supporting are all here. And what is also interesting here is that within by design, if you are doing trading, there may be cases whereby tidak cukup stock. Yeah. So I have a sales coming in, tidak cukup stock. So what does the system do? So in this case here, let me just show you here. Yes, I have a sales, I have a delivery. But before this happens, I actually have to check all my sales that comes in. This is only one sales, but in a day I may have 100 sales. So I will have to check all the 100 sales. Do I have enough stock to be delivered? So kalau dilihat dari sini, there's a function called customer demand. So we will run this customer demand something like a MRP, yeah, whether you have enough material or whether you have enough stock. And upon checking, right, tidak cukup stock. So dari sini, automatically the system will issue a purchase. So from the purchase, of course, then you will need to do the goods receipt. And then once the inbound is in, then only you can do the outbound. And in this one screen, you will be able to see the sales is related to the purchase, the purchase related to the stock, and then of course the stock relating to finance. So all the different modules can be shown in one screen. And what is also interesting is dari segi finance. I'm not sure whether you practice this, yeah. Let me show you here. In the accounting, there are cases whereby some companies, they tell us that, yes, I need my own accounting standard. So kalau dari segi Indonesia, I want to have an Indonesia accounting standard in my main book, right? My accounting book. But at the same time, because I'm part of a group, I have also a subsidiary in Singapore. I have also a subsidiary in Malaysia. I need to have a group report, right? So what happens then? If you notice here, dari sini, my demo is based on Australia. So I have an Australia accounting standard. But at the same time, you notice here, there's this IFRS. So in my design, there is this concept of what we call multi-books. So why is this important to you? Is because if you need to have different books for reporting purposes, the data that is updated in by design, automatic. You don't have to worry that I have to finish one book. From this one book, I need to transfer, manage the information, then, sorry, report in another set of books. If you have set it up from the start, any transaction that goes into by design, the local country accounting standards will be updated, but as a group, the accounting standard also will be updated with the transaction. Okay, that's, I think, the time that I have to show you a demo. If you, like I said, if you see that this is something that you want to explore further, let us know. Because for the short time of a period, it is a bit difficult for me to explain every one of these modules to you in detail, right? But please have, understand the concept here is that we want to make it easy for you. And of course, what is available in Business by Design are all the modules that I have presented earlier on, right? Now, let me just go back to the PowerPoint, sorry. Okay, just to go back here. So what you see just now is what you see over here, the different modules. Remember, the sales order is coming from the CRM, then it links to the purchase request, right? The SRM. And then, of course, the inventory is updated in terms of the goods receipt and so on. It's part of supply chain. And then, of course, once all of this is done, it goes to billable, which is part of finance. Okay, so all of these are there for you. What you need to do is have a look at this and say that, okay, this may help me. Maybe I want to explore further. So please approach B1 to have a look at a more detailed presentation. Now, for my side, we have been talking about by design just now for myself. And early on, you see that there's an intelligent enterprise presentation, right? So how is that important, or how does that really help you in Business by Design? So in Business by Design, how do you look at digitalization, or how is it that you want to even think of digitalization, right? So this is where here, like I said, you need to have a intelligent or a suite of products already in place, which is the ERP. So in this case, you see by design has all of it there, but when these are all there, good. how do you want to use IoT, analytics, artificial intelligence, or machine learning to help you. So you need to have a platform here, number 2 here, to have a platform to build all this. And with this, you have the intelligent technology. And from there, the information will be pushed back to by design. Now, just to give you an example, right? If you are dealing with a sales of machinery, okay, how does it all come together? How do I actually even apply intelligent enterprise into by design? If I'm selling a machine, I can actually put a chip into my machine. When I say I can put a chip into my machine, if the machine runs is faulty, right, needs repair, or if the machine needs maintenance, it needs to send a service request back to by design. So in this case here, you see, if the machine runs breaks down at your customer side, and what happens here is that immediately there is a trigger, because there is already a sensor in the machine. It already triggered to you in business by design to say that there is going to be a need for a repair, right? And this is even before your customer know that there is a need for repair, because this is real time. So once it's updated to you, they may not even know there is needs for repair. You can immediately call your customer and say that, okay, we know that machine 1, there is some problems, it may need some repairing. Do you want us to look into it? So you see here, notify the customer. Once you notify the customer say, yes, agree, the machine, there is a problem, I need help. Then you can, of course, search for the information of what you can actually do for the repairs, the spare parts that you need, and so on. Once you have finished doing that, you go in and do the servicing, the repair, put in the replacement, and that's done. So what actually does this do is basically to tell the customer that we are proactively helping you. You actually create a greater customer relationship, because why? You are proactively helping the customer to manage the machines, right? So, and in this case, you are utilizing the sensor, right? So that's what we mean by intelligent enterprise, putting that into your business and see how it helps. There's a question from the chat.
Iya, ada pertanyaan di chat box.
Ya, apa perbezaan BYD dibandingkan dengan produk yang ada di pasaran? First of all, BYD is I answer, okay?
Silakan Pak Alex.
Okay, terima kasih. So BYD basically is a full cloud solution. So yes, in the market there are also other cloud solutions, but you need to also look at the capability and the functionality within the application. Kalau tadi dalam presentasi, you notice that in BYD, all the modules are in one solution. A lot of the ones that is in the market, they actually combine different add-on. Meaning to say, kalau tidak ada HR, they buy another software and then they link them together, they position to the market as one total solution. Right? So in those cases, they are not true one total solution. And if you say that you want to change this to product in the market, are you comparing no cloud to cloud ataupun cloud to on-premise? On-premise means that you still need to look at hardware, you still need to look at investment into your architecture. Dari segi BYD, tidak all of this will be done by us. The cost is absorbed by us. You just have to pay the user license. So these are the things that you need to look at in terms of the perbezaan. And also the other part that of course we need to understand from you is that dari segi industry, that means which industry you are at. That's where we can tell you, okay, this is why BYD is unique ataupun BYD lebih bagus sebab there is this special component ataupun special process dalam BYD yang the other software tidak ada. Okay, so very subjective question. We need to know in more detail to tell you what is the main differences. Okay, Ibu Nurul?
Clear?
Esther?
Okay. Yes, Alex, thank you for explaining, Pak. Nah, udah jelas ya, Bu Nurul ya. Nah, ini saya mau mengulang kembali Bapak Ibu, untuk voucher ini khusus untuk Bapak Ibu yang join webinar kita hari ini ya Bapak Ibu. Dan ini pun kita khususkan kepada customer kami yang pertama ingin upgrade ke BYD. Ini khusus untuk first in, first get istilahnya ya Bapak Ibu. Nah, ini sebesar 50 juta nanti akan kita kurangi dari biaya investasi Bapak Ibu. Dan untuk masa berlaku voucher ini kita sampai di 31 Maret Bapak Ibu. Jadi kalau sudah mempertimbangkan boleh segera menghubungi saya. Kurang lebih seperti itu Bapak Ibu. Nah, untuk dari Bapak Ibu apakah sudah selesai untuk mengisi feedback form kami Bapak Ibu? Oke.
Silakan, Pak.
Oh, ada pertanyaan.
Ya,
Baik,
silakan, Pak.
silakan Pak Bayu.
Thank you, Pak Alex.
Yeah.
Can a small business use SAP by design? Apakah untuk small business?
Ya, Pak. In fact, for business by design, minimum user hanya 5 user, Pak.
Oke, cocok ya, Pak Alex
Ya,
ya.
ya.
Thank you.
And like I said, the reason why we came up with this product is because yang satu lagi, when we talk about ECC SAP ya, I think when you go to the market, when you listen that when customers or partners come to you and say, oh SAP, then you will say, oh mahal, too expensive, I cannot afford because I'm only SME. So have a look at SAP Business by Design because SAP Business by Design is meant for small medium enterprise.
Oke. Thank you, Mr. Alex.
Oke, kembali.
Terima kasih semuanya Bapak Ibu. Jika nanti ada pertanyaan yang lainnya, bisa langsung menghubungi Ibu Esther sesuai yang kami informasikan tadi, atau bisa menonton channel YouTube kita, bisa langsung bertanya juga di channel YouTube kita. Terima kasih untuk semuanya, Bapak Ibu semua. Selamat siang dan selamat beraktivitas kembali.
Oke, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Alex.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Bu Lili.